Hey CDA, and today's video is sponsored by the developer of Plentiful. This is an indie game that is best described, I guess, as a kind of sandbox god game, but at the same time there's a lot of puzzle elements to it as well that are really addicting if you are an optimizer like me. The first time I started playing this game, and I'm not kidding, I played it for 6 hours straight until the middle of the night. I think it was 2 a.m. when I stopped. And that's not because this is a super complex game. It's actually kind of deceptively simple. But yeah, if you like a puzzle challenge, it's really relaxing to play, by the way, as well. This might be the game for you. So let's just dive in. Now, before we do that, let me give you a quick overview. So there's a tutorial, and there's all kinds of different scenarios that you can play. And each scenario will have different components to it, different goals to go for. There is a global leaderboard ranking type of thing as well. So if that's your thing, and I'm very competitive, so I kind of like that. You can see if you can beat your own times or beat someone else's time. But for those of you that just want a sandbox to play in, there are, for every single biome, a sandbox mode as well. So you can just, play without stress. Now, like I said, every scenario is quite different. So it's very hard to kind of show you what the game is all about by just showing you a single scenario. But I think the Mountain Lake scenario in particular, it was actually recommended to me by the developer as well, is a very good one to do this with. So let's just dive into that. Now, as you can see, the world is actually kind of beautiful. It's kind of blocky, and as the game just told me, it doesn't rain here. So usually there's a rain coming in, and there's like liquid mechanics that will allow the rain to pool into these little places, and then you need to use that water in order to feed your people, because you will be trying to keep a tribe alive. We currently start out with 0. You can see 0 out of 15, and to complete the level, at least the base version of the level, we will need to get 15 people in total. Now, there's other things as well. You can see I already played this level, so you can see if you can complete it within 20 days. You can also see if you can actually reach a larger population, and you can see if you can do all of that without getting anyone killed. Now, I did all of that. It was kind of a fun challenge. So let me walk you through how the game works. So you see there's different types of ground here. So we have these places. These are actually fertile ground, so we can start growing trees here and other things. And if we can kind of put them together like this, we can use the liquid that is in these tiles to start growing things. Now, in order to do that, we have a menu over here. This is a very straightforward level. I'll show you a more complicated one after this. But we can bury a coconut here, for example, and then bury it under here, and then a tree will start growing. Now, it will need more water than it currently has. So in order to accommodate that, what we're going to do, let's see, we need that water to actually go somewhere. Now, we can get water from up here. It will need to flow down. I'm actually inclined to make my own little river here. That might be the most efficient way to do this. And we can do that by moving these blocks around like this. Now, some of these blocks you can just pretty much move wherever you go, but you see the number over here. So we have a limited amount of resources we can spend on doing stuff. So we can't just go willy-nilly and do whatever we want. The further I move the blocks, the more expensive it is, and look at that. The coconut tree is starting to grow. Now, it will take a while for that tree to actually fully grow. Moving it all the way over here is, by the way, maybe not the most efficient way to do, but I'll just keep going. But yeah, the tree will start growing. Now, the tree needs a little bit of space, so it initially grows in this tile, but once it gets a little bit bigger, and you can see it's using the water around it, it will start taking up a full circle around it as well. So you need a fair amount of space to have your trees grow. Now, once it grows, it will also start carrying fruit. And that is something my people will be able to take advantage of. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a little bit of a river through here. And then make sure that we can make this completely fertile all the time by getting the water from up here. Now, in order to do that, we probably need a little bit more space than this. So, is this connected? No, it's not. Something like this. Okay. We probably need to make sure the water doesn't go anywhere we don't want it to. There is a day-night cycle as well, by the way, so time is passing. There we go. So let's get the water in here. As far as I know, the water doesn't actually evaporate. Oh, that's a lot more water than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, liquid mechanics are definitely a thing. But there we go. So we drained some of the water, but now we have a lot more fertile ground. So this circle is going to be taken by this tree. So if I place another coconut tree down here, we will have a second one that is going to start to grow. We can also, however, plant things manually. So if I make some space over here and I plant my stuff in here, I can also just bury a jam. Now, the jam will grow a lot faster, but this is a one-time use thing. So the coconut tree, now I've planted it, as long as it has water, it will keep growing fruits, but as you can see, it's not really a fast way of doing this. The jam, we should see, yep, there we go, is immediately sprouting. It's almost instant, and it also grows, assuming that there's fertile ground available, in the areas around where you buried it. So now I have 5 fruits. I can't count. This is 7 fruits, I mean. And yeah, these are something that my human can eat. So let's place down a nice little human. Now, this guy, girl, woman, I don't know, needs somewhere to live as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it a little tiny place to stay. Now, basically all my people need is a couple of walls and a roof. And there we go. So as long as you keep your people fed and they have a roof over their heads, they will start feeling very comfortable. And if they do, that's the nice thing, they will start making babies. Yes, even a single villager will start making babies. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but it is how that works. Okay, so this is a very efficient layout, by the way. It took me several hours of playing before I figured out that this was probably the most efficient way to build a nice little place to stay. But yeah, as you can see, my villager will now be sitting inside their little cave. And as long as they get fed, they will start procreating. Now, as you can see, growing all of that food did actually drain some of my water. So I do need to get more water in here. What I'm going to do, and I'm just going to edit that out for a second, I'm going to rearrange this for a little bit more efficiency. Okay, there we go. I made a little river over here, and that goes all the way in here, so we can have a small lake over here and a small lake over here, and that should give us a lot of fertile ground. Again, assuming we have the water to fill that with. Now, we do have some additional water over here, so let me get some of that in here. There we go. It is now flowing. It's also a little overflowing, but as you can see, it immediately fertilizes this ground. And yeah, I'm kind of running out of water here, so we're going to have to do something about that. But let's get some more water in here. Let's see how far we can make that flow. The answer is not all that far, apparently. And apparently, I also need to dig out this a little bit more because this is not at the same height. Yeah. I didn't realize everything else was higher. Is that a problem? Honestly, yeah, it is, because this is gonna get drowned if I don't do something about that. So, be right back. Okay, so how about this? I made a little canal over here now. This water, this area should still be fertilized by the water flowing through here, I think. And I took the stone out of here to make sure I have access to this water. So hopefully, if I now start digging this out, there we go. This water should start flowing in here, and then it should flow down. It takes a while. It's not instant, as you can see, but these fluid mechanics are kind of neat. So let me keep digging this out, because we will need all of that water that is in there. Yeah, you can see the water is still flowing through here and fertilizing everything, including this area back here. And look at that. Coconuts are dropping from the tree, and people are starting to feed from that. Now, I think I'm gonna grow myself a couple of yams as well. Am I just gonna keep the jams on this side, and then the coconuts on this side? Maybe. Could be a pretty good way to go, by the way. This is still getting flooded. That's actually interesting. Didn't expect that. It's probably the fluid mechanics, because there's so much water coming through here at the same time. that it's kind of like overflowing, which is an interesting mechanic, to be fair. I actually hadn't seen that yet, so there is a lot of things to learn about this game as you go. Now, I already have 2 people, and I probably have more gems than I need. You can check their health, by the way. So I am not sure what the 2 different bars actually signify, and that's the thing about this game. Apparently the green one, I guess, is when they eat. Yeah. And look at that, we now have 3 people. Oh man, he did not win the genetics lottery for sure. But anyway, they are feeding, and I actually don't know if they die of old age. They might. I've definitely had people die over time, but I have 3 people now. I have 3 places to stay. So if I want them to actually grow in number, I will need to give them more places to stay. Now, places to stay, again, doesn't take that much time, but you do need to spend some time on it, which you can't spend on other things. And I am technically under time pressure if I want to take the make the achievement to do this within a certain amount of days. So you do need to take that into consideration. And what you also need to get into consideration is that the game tracks how many moves you make. So again, something you can challenge yourself with. Try to complete the game in as the few moves as possible. And yeah, I was a little worried about that. I just lost my palm tree there. That is, that's a shame. Then this one is probably going to die as well. Again, that is kind of a shame. Which means I am just going to plant myself some new trees because I do kind of want them. Let's see, this one was under here, right? Yep. I do need to bury the coconuts, otherwise my people are going to eat them. Gluttonous people that they are. Can we just have that water flow back in here like this? Yes, we can. Okay. Oh, that's good. Then we'll take it from there. Alright, this is starting to look like something. I built a couple of more of these cottages for my people to stay in. We're at 3 out of 15. We might see another one popping soon. We have a couple of coconut trees now, but we are running low on water. I am growing some more jams just because I can. And in the meanwhile, I will need to start working my way better towards this water. This should be very easy to get. So as soon as they pick up their jams, they are climbing the long way around. So let's give them a little bit of a stairway so they can kind of climb up and down here, I think. Now, this guy seems to be very hungry. Let's see. Yep. Okay. He was about to start starving, I think. So we do not want anyone to die, but this should take care of that. Now, there's also some random creatures in here. I don't think they do anything, but we might be able to squash them. Whoop. And now they might be able to eat it. There's a lot of little mechanics in this game that it doesn't tell you about, and it's kind of fun figuring those out by yourself. I am kind of wondering what happens if I do this. Will that harm my people? It shouldn't. I think it should have an easy way to get out, right? So there we go. There is still water flowing through here. And that means we can probably start to plant a couple of additional coconut trees as well. So let's have one over here. Let's have another one over here. Oh, I can't actually plant that like this. If I do it like this, the coconut tree won't actually grow because this isn't fertilized. But if I do it like this, it should start to grow just fine. Okay, let's see. So I need to get more water in here. It still seems to be flowing decently. But yeah, I definitely need to remove some of the path of resistance so it can actually flow through. Actually, a more efficient way of doing this would be to throw the stones in the part where I want the water to flow from. Like this. Because this will force the water out and into the direction where I want it to go. Okay, there we go. As you can see, the water is flowing further and further. The coconut trees are starting to grow. However, it might be more efficient to actually use the jams instead. Or I just get some more water and I will get it from over here. Now you can kind of see the idea behind this game, right? So this all seems very straightforward, and it is. But this is just one single scenario, and there are several more like it, which I will show you in a moment. But let me actually just finish this scenario up so you can see what it looks like near the end. Okay, I progressed a little bit, made sure we have plenty of water in here, and did some landscaping. And I really like how our little oasis started to look. You can also see that the coconut trees are now producing way more coconuts than I currently need for my 5 people. But yeah, I do now have 5 people, so we're gonna be progressing and growing that quite a bit because we do have plenty of food to do that. Now, by the way, every time someone eats, and you can see that here hopefully happening in a second, you actually gain some points. So this is how you get money back in order to, you know, either build some more trees and stuff like that, do some landscaping and stuff like that. So even if someone dies, it's not the end of the world. However, humans do cost 1,000 points. So as long as you have 1 up and you can keep them fed, there's no problem. You can just keep growing more, you can have more babies basically. But you do need to keep an eye on your resources. Now, I am wasting so many coconuts. I actually made a little bit too much progress in a short time. So yeah, let's fast forward and see how the babies grow. Would you look at that satisfying flow of water? I'm draining this lake all the way up top, and yeah, this is gonna give me plenty more water for my village. It's gonna stream all the way from here to here to here to here to here into my village, which by the way now also has 9 people. Now, since I now have 5+ people, what I can actually do, and I don't really need the food, but I kind of want to show you, there's an improved version of the jams as well. So I have this optimized tile over here that if we speed up time a little bit, you will be able to see that for the cost of about 3 normal jams, I am going to get way more resources out of that. So this is triple the amount of resources. And look at that, that is so much food from a single set of tiles over here. Now, I do have to say, I kind of prefer the coconut trees, mostly because they look better. So let me just plant another one. But yeah, this is kind of awesome. The villagers, by the way, can jump a single tile. They can also climb up and down the tile. So this is the way you can do your irrigation in a neat and orderly way without them getting stuck anywhere as a result. Now, you can also see, because I'm now feeding so many people, we kind of get into an optimized loop where I'm also gaining so much points that I can just start adding more people to the mix myself as well in order to, you know, speed up the process a little bit. We only need 1 more baby and then we will have won the level. And there we go. Now, if you're wondering what this is, we are a god, and this is kind of like our parent god, I guess, telling us, yes, you did a good job as the god of these people, and we can now move on to the next territory. Now, speaking of which, you can see your scoring over here. So I'm in the top 49% in terms of timing. Now, I've been talking a lot, and I could have definitely done this a lot faster. And I actually grew this population in the previous playthrough a lot more, and that put me in the top 3%. So, you know, that is something you can aim for if you want. Actually, I think in one of the levels I actually got a top 10 score or something like that. But anyway, another level that I kind of want to show you is the... which one was it? It was this one, yeah. Where you play along with another god. And there we go. Now we are in a completely different type of challenge over here. We are now on a very small set of islands, and we are gonna have to make do with what we have, which is not that easy, considering we don't have a lot of fertile ground to work with, so food production is gonna be a thing. And we also don't have a lot of tiles to build stuff with, and in order to reach the other islands, we're gonna need to build little bridges and stuff like that. Now, complicated? Nope. It doesn't make you think a little bit on how to optimize your food production. So, yep, definitely. So what I'm gonna do... Now you can see there's another god actually building here as well. Kind of cool. And our population is tied together. So if we can connect our islands a little bit, we can also benefit from the food they are producing. We can kind of steal it, I guess. So let's see. Let's rearrange this a little bit. So we have a nice little area over here where we can start planting other trees. Now, we don't have coconuts in this time around. We do have pears, oranges, and apples. Now, these will all bear fruits in different seasons. So right now it's summer, and orange trees bear fruits in summer. They also grow during summer. So that is a good place to start. Now, on top of that, let's see. This circle is over here, so then if I do it like this. Actually, we don't need this one. So let's hold off on that one, but we can plant another tree over here. However, I do want some normal food, so I'm going to grow some eggplants. Now again, these are seasonal plants, so I do need to take care on how and where I place these. Now let's see if we can make another one of those neat little square circles. We need a couple more. Actually, there's a couple of them underwater here, I think. There we go. Let's also place an apple tree. So we have something for the summer, something for the fall. We don't have any for the winter, so they will need enough food to survive the winter. But yeah, they also need a place to stay, of course. So let me build one of my nice little layouts again over here. And that should then get me going. That's one. We already have two, so let's make sure we add another roof, so both of them can shelter from the rain. Probably not the worst place to start. Making sure your people don't get sick from standing in the rain. Actually, I don't know if they get sick. You do hear coughing every now and then in the game sounds, but I'm not entirely sure if that means they're actually sick or if that's just a random cough that people have. Okay, kind of cool like this. And there we go. Now we have room enough for 6 people. Could probably have 9 on this island in total. Now there's a couple of ways you can approach this. So as you can see, the other god is kind of working its way to other islands. What I can do instead is just grab the stuff from the other islands and bring it over to mine. Now, I do need to make sure that my fertile ground isn't actually underwater. So, like that. And by doing this, we can still expand to the other islands. There's actually a completely alternative way of approaching this level, I realize now. I can just start building food and thereby let the people from the other god take advantage of that and kind of collaborate in that sense. So it's an interesting way of thinking about approaching this level. I am gonna grow some pumpkins because we don't have any other food available just yet. And I am gonna move you over here because we have a circle like this. And then I'm kind of gonna continue that as we are. Okay, there we go. So I just built a bridge to my own island, and you can now see the people from the other god completely invading mine, and they are gonna apparently steal my food. Now, honestly, this is not a real problem because we are cooperating, and I'm just gonna bury another pumpkin. So if we can feed their people, and they're also actually taking advantage of the homes I just built, that's okay. As long as we have plenty of food available, you can see the AI apparently built a lot of the trees over here. We can start working our way very efficiently towards those 24 people. As you can see, it also gets winter, and in the winter pretty much nothing grows. I can't actually plant any carrots, eggplants, or pumpkins. The trees don't have any fruit, so you need to make sure you have enough food in your people for them to survive this winter. Now, the winter only lasts a day. Every season is just a single day, but that does provide an additional challenge that you would normally not have because you need to kind of plan ahead. You can also see I am very low on resources, so I could add another human, but I do need to make sure that these guys ideally survive, or that I have enough points for me to replace at least one of them in order for me to be able to continue this level. So if it all seems very easy and very straightforward, I promise you it is not. There is definitely room for mistakes, but not an infinite amount. Luckily, it is now spring. I was able to plant some carrots, and there we go. Hopefully no one is gonna die from hunger. Now, some of them are really low on points though, so I'll need to make sure I plant some more carrots. But it also means that at this point, you can see some of these trees have grown into the larger version. They will start carrying fruits as well, and considering we have quite a few of them around, that means we should have access to plenty of food all around. Now, what I don't really like about what the AI has done is that they have been planting them pretty much just wherever the fertile ground is. And I think it's just a little bit more efficient to place everything close to home. Now, they didn't apparently plant any trees over here. I'm not sure if they actually built this nice little layout or if that was just there to begin with. But yeah, moving some additional trees closer by. Let's see, we have one of each, I think. This is an apple, this is an orange tree, this is a pear. What is this? This is a pear, so let's make another orange over here. Yeah, the AI has also been growing food, so that's kind of nice. So now we have 2 pears, 1 orange. So let's make another orange tree and an apple tree over here as well by taking some more of these tiles. And there we go, almost near the end of this level. Some people have been dying though. It's not that easy to keep them alive if you can't grow anything during the winter. And it doesn't help if the AI's population is actually stealing your food. And you need a surprising amount of trees to keep people alive, by the way. So you kind of need to mix and match the manually grown stuff with the trees. The trees also take a while to really grow into a large size. And when they do, they actually do start to drop more and more fruits. They can actually drop fruits in this entire region, but it takes several cycles of the entire year for that to happen. So, you know, it's a bit of a long-term investment that does pay off near the end. It's free food, you don't have to spend any points in it, but yeah, like I said, you do need to make sure that you actually keep your people alive until that happens. But as you can see, we've been able to kind of balance the growth. For some reason, the AI's people took over my entire starting island, so that tells me it's pretty good, I guess. So I kind of moved over to the stuff the AI built, and now I am living over here with my people. Apparently they seem to like pumpkins, so let's grow some of those. A nice little detail, by the way, is that sometimes the parents will pick up food and bring them to the children. Very small detail, but for an indie game like this, I thought that was a nice touch. Anyway, let's fast forward and see how we did. Okay, there we go, victory. Now let's see what my stats are. In the top 27-28%, so not that bad, I would say. It says population 11, so it's taking a little time to update. We did complete it with at least 12 of your own people. What you can actually do is just build in this particular level. Just let the AI's population grow and don't care about your own. There's some pineapples to collect, by the way, as well, so you can kind of use these breadcrumbs to guide your people there. Not something that I am particularly interested in, just go around all of these islands and collect that. But there are some different types of objectives depending on what you prefer to do. The breadcrumbs are kind of nice though, because you can actually guide your people to specific places that way. So if for whatever reason your people get stuck in a certain area where you don't want them to be, you can guide them elsewhere. Now let me show you a bit of a less peaceful level. Welcome to the Spider Sands. Now, we are gonna try to grow a tribe of just 14 people once more. But yeah, there are spiders about. Now, the interesting thing about these spiders is that they are kind of landlocked. So these are sand spiders. They will move across anything that is sand, but they won't be able to go onto stone. And we also have stone spiders. We have one of them over here that can only walk on stone. So if I do this, he can now no longer leave this tile, and if I do this, he will die. And that is a very efficient way of getting rid of the spiders. Now, thinking about that, we should probably focus on that early on, just to kill some spiders, because they will be repopulating as well. Oh, I didn't think about that for too long, apparently. So let's lock in some of these spiders so they don't have anywhere to go. And let's do the same with this one. I think if we clear out the spiders in this area, there's a lot of spiders over here actually. So we should probably have our people populate this side. There's probably going to be spiders elsewhere as well. You can see some running over here. This is a stone spider, so it's never going to be able to reach this area. There's no spiders on this stone right now, so I can actually safely build here and start building a little shelter over here. And then we should be safe from stone spiders. Now, of course, if we do have the other type, the sand spiders coming in, we would need to have to deal with that. But for the moment, they are on the other side of the water. We just need to make sure that they stay there. So what we can actually do, maybe this, make a little bit of water in between us and the spiders. There are some spiders over here as well, though. I don't know if we need to block them off completely, to be fair. I mean, these spiders are really far away. It's not like they will make a large effort to come towards us, but maybe if we do it like this, we can make sure that they would need to go the very long way around to ever reach us. We can actually just work the water a little bit as well. Something like this. We are literally making a moat around our village now. It's kind of cool, actually. So that spider should be stuck. Am I kind of building my own save island here? I think I am. We could kill these spiders. We don't really need to. There's no need to be, you know, too hostile. I'm not the biggest fan of spiders in real life, but, you know, let's not be too hateful. We don't need to. I'm the type of guy, by the way, that carries spiders outside, usually. Okay, we have a little home over here. Now, we don't have any food yet, so before we start adding people, let's make sure that we have some food. And in this particular level, we have way more options, as you can see. So far, the levels have been kind of gimmicky, but you have a whole lot more options to do whatever you want. So we have this giant lake over here. What we could do is put some duckweed on there. And this will start populating. Now, the name already suggests this is going to be food for ducks. We can also grow some... let's see, where do I want to... maybe over here? Hold on, sorry. Thinking and playing at the same time here. So, if I do this, and I place some lakeweed, it spreads underwater, but only on the same level, so you kind of need a flat ground. But this is, I think, pretty much flat already. So that's kind of nice. Let's make the water a little bit more wide. There we go. This should allow this to spread all over the place over here. And then we have some food for fishes as well. Now, I'm going to let these grow for a little while first. Because if I now add a duck or a fish or whatever to it, it's gonna just eat all the food and either die, or I'm actually not entirely sure what will happen then. But yeah, generally speaking, you want the food to get a little time to grow before you actually start using it elsewhere. I actually might be able to flatten this out a little bit as well. So there we go. Let's have this spread so we have some more fertile ground. What I really like about this game, guys, is that it's super zen, but it's also extremely satisfying to kind of shape this rough area into a kind of a utopian type of area where all your people can live. Don't know about you, but yeah, I think that type of thing is really satisfying. Now, we also, other than ducks and fish, have melons and worms now. Worms pretty much just thrive in the ground. They will come above ground during rain, and you can crush them, and your people can eat them. It's as simple as that. Melons are something that grows, and it only needs a single tile to be attached to the water, and it will just spread across the entire area of the ground. And it will grow at a very slow rate, but it will grow melons there. Now, we also have access to grass. It will only spread on the same height, but we have a massive amount of area on the same height, and that will be eaten by rabbits. And, well, they will multiply as rabbits, so that is a way to go forth. Now, what you can do is, I found this out the hard way. If we plant a pear tree here, for example, it will grow to fill this entire area. However, what we can do at the same time is, for example, put some grass over here, and then that will start to grow as well. And then the tree and the grass can actually occupy the same space, so we can have rabbit food growing underneath the trees that are growing food for our people as well. This is something to take into consideration. It didn't rain for a while, and now this area is starting to dry out, and that means that these sand spiders could cross the water because, you know, the water is no longer there. So, yeah, that's something we need to take care of about at some point. Anyway, it's springtime again, and even though there's a ton of spiders on this side now, I think we should be fine for the moment if we add someone. And if we do get more spiders, I'll just have to kind of panic build here for a moment. We have a lot of fertile ground though, and we are not currently generating any points, so let's add a human. And let's make sure we start making some carrots because our trees haven't actually completely grown yet. Speaking of which, apparently there are some trees too close together, so that's not going to work. Let's make sure we do it like that. This is going to fill up like that as well. We're going to have to rearrange some stuff over here because that is not going to work. Yeah, something like this should be fine. Any spiders on the wrong side? Nope. We seem to be doing fine for the moment, but I really need it to rain so this water starts filling up again. Okay, there we go. Luckily, there is some rain coming in, so we should see this starting to fill up. You can see the liquid dynamics doing their work as well. I also connected some of my water areas that are higher up to my main waterways over here. Not sure how effective that's going to be, but at least it should fill in some of the water. And at least we have our little moat over here now doing its job. Now, that was not a lot of water, to be fair. And yeah, I am a little worried about these guys crawling over here. So I'm gonna go off and trap and kill some spiders before they turn into too much of an issue. That's actually easier said than done because they do keep crawling all across the map. Ah, there we go. I think I have you now. And that's one down. And we can keep doing that. As you can see, there's a lot of spiders. So we do need to be very careful about how we deal with them. Ah, I think I found the reason. So the reed over here is actually evaporating water. And that is kind of counterproductive. Now what I can do is actually crush the weeds like this. The reeds, I should say in this case. So that they will hopefully stop doing that. So I can use my water to, you know, actually grow food. It's nice to have a way to control the level of the water, but in this case I just want it to rise up. Well, I mean, not without any control over it, but I don't think we're in any danger of dying from having too much water. Now the real question is, yeah, I do have some more reed over here as well. All if that is evaporating water. I was wondering where it all was going, but yeah, there we go. That should be a lot more water I can use for food now. Really nice detail, by the way, is that when fall hits and certain trees are basically going to be unproductive, you can actually see the leaves blowing and gathering on the floor. We also have some melons now, so yeah, my people should have plenty of food now. We have several trees up and running, the melons starting to populate, so I am gonna build myself a few more houses. Now in the meanwhile, what I've done is I actually made a bit of a wall around my village to make sure the spiders get out. The rock spiders themselves are not really a problem. I'm not even sure we have that many around. I've seen a few, but they can't get onto the sand, and my people will be spending most of their time on the sand as well, and all the areas where I am living are completely insulated in terms of routes that the rock spiders could take, so we shouldn't see anyone dying from any rock spiders anytime soon. And the sand spiders, well, they seem to be repopulating quite effectively. Sadly, I can't just squish them with stone like I can with some of the other creatures, but they should be stuck on this side of the wall. Would you look at that? Now, considering what we started with, I think it's extremely satisfying to look at this and see our little oasis starting to be. We have already 8 people. They are not super fed, but we are growing a healthy amount of food. I think I planted some more trees. We can also do kind of like this supercharged version of getting food, by the way. So for example, I can grow a lot of carrots all in one go over here. But what I also want to start doing is have a bit of a free food factory going on. Because look at this. This lake over here is now filling up with duckweed quite nicely. So we can start adding a couple of ducks to there. Now what ducks want to do is they want to lay eggs, but they want to lay eggs in a single tile that is also sitting in the water. So let's say, for example, over there, Not entirely sure if this counts, but we'll put one over here as well. Now this one, I don't think my villagers can reach, so if they do put an egg over here, then, I don't know, the eating animation is a little weird, but you can see they are clearing out the duckweed. Now, if they lay eggs, you can either eat the eggs, or you can not eat the eggs, and then we'll get an additional duck. Now, we can kill ducks, so that's a nice thing. If the ducks run out of food, they will start dying, I think, as well, and once they die, the ducks themselves can be eaten. Yeah, okay, so you can see there's an egg over here, and that means we have an additional food source for our people now. If we do have eggs that go uneaten, that's fine too, because then we will just get additional ducks. So either way, it is fine. It's just another way of getting food. Speaking of which, what we can also do is start adding a couple of rabbits to this grassy area over here. We have plenty of grass growing all around, and that means we can start utilizing that in order to gain some additional food from rabbits as well. Just to demonstrate, if I pick a single tile like this and I'll just dump it on the rabbit dies, and we can now start eating it. So, you know, we can just farm some, grow some rabbits and have them eat the grass. The grass will keep growing, and then we can start eating those rabbits as well. There you go. You can see it is now, oh, look, Koba 17 has 2 daughters and a son. I guess teen pregnancies are something that is definitely happening over here. These guys didn't actually get any children. I guess then Koba is one of the first few people that we got. Why does Koba have a name and the other people don't? That's interesting. Huh. Actually, I hadn't noticed that before. Yeah, so this is gonna be very easy now to win the level because we only need 3 more people. But it took quite a bit of work. I needed to make sure they were safe from spiders. I needed to make sure they had food. I needed to deal with the whole water situation. There's a lot more going on than you would think at first sight, and I really think it's extremely satisfying to look at the lush green oasis recreated in the meanwhile. Okay, last but not least, I want to show you a level that really has some interesting mechanics as well, just to show you the diversity of things you can do in this game, because this particular scenario is set in a very mountainous region, but that's for a very good reason, because as the game just told us, the sea rises and falls every day. So let me speed this up a little bit and you can see, because when we say rise and fall, yep, it's gonna be pretty extreme. So you can see all of this area will be underwater, and that means that in order to make sure you can make use of this water, you're gonna have to think about ways to, you know, make it go where you need it to, basically. Because you're gonna need that water to irrigate your fertile grounds, but you don't want your people to drown, so they need to be living in the high area, or you're gonna need to either make sure the water stays out of where you want to be building, or you need to trap it once it goes up and make sure it stays there when it goes down. And it shouldn't be any surprise at this point that this game was made by someone who's actually Dutch, like me, and we are kind of good at that. So, you know, dealing with water going up and down and trying to not have your population drown in the process is kind of what we do. Now, the nice thing is that you don't just want to have all of this water stick around, because a lot of the useful tiles will be down there, and you can't reach them if they're too far below the water. You can actually take them out like that. So you're gonna have to be very creative with how you set this up. I'm not gonna spoil this level for you. If that sounds interesting to you, by all means, think around how you would do that efficiently yourself. But again, this is one of those examples where you can really start landscaping and dealing with the water in such a way that you can, you can build your own Netherlands. Netherlands is at completely below sea level. You can kind of recreate that by yourself in this particular scenario as well. And like I said, there are plenty more scenarios where that came from. And again, there's some sandbox levels as well. It's very good value for money, I think. It's a very impressive indie game, if I'm fair. It looks very simple once again. The first few levels, when I was playing, I was like, okay, is this everything? And then I got to the good stuff and I kept playing for hours, like I said at the beginning. So hopefully you find this interesting as well. If you do, check it out on Steam. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you are still here, you are awesome. And I do definitely hope to catch you in the next one.